Caring viewers, welcome to Animal World, our co-inhabitants. Today's episode of our Stop Animal Cruelty series focuses on Australia's proud national symbol, the endearing kangaroo. As we will see, despite their iconic status, kangaroos and their young, called joeys, are heavily persecuted and are nearly endangered due to the massive slaughtering of wildlife. Let us hear more about the plight of these beautiful beings from Nikki Suddaby, Coordinator of the Australian Society for Kangaroos in Castlemaine, Victoria, Australia.
Kangaroos have very strong family bonds in their mob. They have very close relationships with their joeys, and they're reliant on their mother, the joey, until they're about 18 months of age. They will feed from her, particularly in the eastern greys. And the daughters, the female joeys, will stay with their mother for the rest of their life. And the big males are also a very important part of the hierarchy and social structure. They not only protect the female from the advances of younger males, they also teach the young joeys and have a lot of interaction with the young joeys, teaching them the rules of the group and survival skills. And the female kangaroos teach the young joeys also the rules of the mob and how to look after their young and survive. So there's some very strong bonds within kangaroos. People that raise kangaroos, they will tell you that they're extremely intelligent animals and extremely sensitive, and they suffer a lot of grief when their family members are killed or when they're stressed. And certainly there's stories of the mothers dying when their joey dies. So a mother is a mother, and these animals are suffering intensely under this cruel industry that's going on night after night in Australia.
Every year the fate of millions of kangaroos is set by the quota for the number to be killed for meat and for their skins to be made into leather products. In 2007, the number of kangaroos slaughtered was 3.6 million kangaroos, or 10,000 innocent animals hunted every night, purely for profit. However, this does not include the number of kangaroos that are shot, but escape capture, or the helpless babies, the joeys, which are ruthlessly and barbarically bludgeoned to death. The true scale of the massacre may be 2 or 3 times higher. The cruelty and suffering inflicted on these extremely sensitive animals is unimaginable. At night, hunters go out with spotlights to find and shoot them. Hunters shoot the helpless creatures through the head, neck, throat or jaw, causing massive bleeding and excruciating pain. If they survive the wounds, the kangaroos may flee into the outback and subsequently die of their horrific injuries, after suffering for days. Sometimes hunters deliberately shoot kangaroos in the neck so as to cause them to bleed out, thus making the flesh paler. As consumers prefer eating whiter meat, so with higher demand, it is thus more profitable. It has also been reported that some hunters deliberately avoid making a lethal shot and instead shoot to down the animal so that it can be taken alive to the slaughterhouse. Again, this is done out of greed, as the fresher the meat, the more money it fetches. When these downed kangaroos are loaded into trucks, their legs are broken and snapped in half in order to stop them from jumping away. Kangaroos, Myths and Realities is a book by a coalition of citizens and scientists who have joined to expose the myths underlying the persecution and exploitation of Australia's kangaroo. Ms. Suddaby reads an excerpt in the book of an account by a former hunter. He tells of the cruelty of kangaroo killings.
Talks about what actually happens to individual animals on a regular basis that you wouldn't know about. The mouth of a kangaroo can be blown off, and the kangaroo can escape to die of shock and starvation later on. Forearms can be blown off, as can ears, eyes and noses. Stomachs can be hit, expelling the contents with the kangaroo still alive. Backbones can be pulverised to an unrecognisable state. Hind legs can be shattered with the kangaroo desperately trying to get away on the other or without the use of either. To deny that this goes on is just an exercise in attempting to fool the public.
It has been estimated that up to 80% of the kangaroos killed each year in Australia are females. A female kangaroo usually carries a baby in her pouch and may also have a dependent child, known as an ex-pouch joey, accompanying her. When the mother is killed, the baby and child, and of course her family, experience great distress. The baby in the pouch mostly does not survive, and chances are slim for the ex-pouch joey as well, who was dependent on his mother for milk protection and love, and is now left to fend for itself. Ms. Sutterby reads another excerpt from Kangaroos, Myths and Realities on what awaits these orphan children.
One of the things he talks about is kangaroos have a social life not unlike humans, with strong mother and joey ties, companions, relatives and the like. When continually shot, kangaroos fret for loved ones, their own lives being forced to live in a state of spasmodic terror. Kangaroos can be and are horribly wounded. In-pouch joeys are bludgeoned to death. The out-of-pouch joeys, all alone for the first time in their short lives, panic-stricken after witnessing the brutal death of their mother, are left to die from starvation and/or hypothermia and/or predation. The survivors live in a state of constant fear, with proper social order in constant disarray and upheaval.
The method of killing of in-pouch babies is by decapitation. A sharp blade is used to cut off the babies' heads. Other slaughtering methods include shooting joeys at close range, striking them with a metal pipe, or forcefully swinging them against a solid metal object. Conservative estimates suggest that more than 1 million babies suffer this fate every year, which is almost 3,000 joeys every night. When Animal World, our co-inhabitants returns, we will divulge more about the cruel industry involving Australia's national symbol. Please keep your dial tuned here to Supreme Master Television. Thank you for joining us again for today's Stop Animal Cruelty show on Animal World, our co-inhabitants. We have been investigating the ruthless massacre of the gentle kangaroos that takes place daily in Australia. 6 species of kangaroos have already become extinct and 17 others are endangered. Since 2001, kangaroo numbers in Australia have declined by 65 to 80%. The red kangaroo is killed 3 times faster than it can reproduce. With the loss of kangaroos, the delicate balance of the ecosystem is disturbed.
One of our leading ecologists, Dan Ramp's actually done a lot of